Well, good morning.
Wait,
and
no
welcome
countdown or anything?
No, the countdown, but it's live.
Oh, man.
You wanted to do live, so
Here
here
we
we
go.
are live, man. You wanted
Oh,
live. Live means, yeah, that's right. Yeah, you don't. There's no editing out of anything either. This is it.
I wasn't ready.
I'm not worthy. Hey, I'm Aaron. This is Keith. We're Dads with Coffee today. We're live. That's new for us. We usually
First time ever.
we usually Y'all may wish you may. In fact, you might put in the chat whether or not you want us to start recording this again or not.
My face is a lot better in the mornings. Not the look, but the sound.
Your face has a sound.
Yeah, my
How does
face.
your face have a sound?
Well, it comes from here and it just emanates through. But I'm not as congested early in the mornings.
Really,
I don't know
it develops
why.
over the course
It
of the
does.
day.
I don't know why. It's weird.
Yeah, my voice gets raspy by the afternoon, so
I think it's the masks because we have to.
Yes.
I yell through the masks.
and I have to breathe in all my own junk.
Yeah, I don't like it. Anyway, that's not why we're here.
That's
We're here
not
with
why we're
coffee.
here.
We're here with coffee, just talking about stuff.
Hey, we've been talking about decisions this week, and I thought we'd talk about some decisions. Hey, I want your comment on a decision. None of y'all may care, but I want to comment on a decision that was made this last weekend to see what your thought is on that. Green Bay's
Oh man,
4th and goal.
that was so dumb.
What kind of decision is that?
That's a bad decision.
Is that a coach decision or was
Yes.
that a quarterback decision?
No, coach made the decision.
Because he didn't run. He could have run in the end zone.
Well, that third down, right before they kicked the field goal, Aaron, if you're watching,
Yeah.
just run.
Just run in the end zone, man. It was
I
wide
didn't want
open.
to see Tom Brady in the Super Bowl, but I think the Chiefs have a better chance of beating the Buccaneers than they do the Packers. So
Hey, you know,
Thank you.
I read or I listened on the other day that it says that first time for a Super Bowl team to be at home,
yes, ever.
but they're not giving them any home field advantage for it.
Yeah, well,
Chiefs are still
Chiefs
the
are that
line
good.
is still 3.5 on the Chiefs.
they're that good.
But decisions. We make decisions on the fly. Sometimes we actually think about them, which I encourage. I encourage us to think about decisions. But there are some decisions that we need to make immediately. I mean, we've got to make some decisions quickly.
Think about your driving to work this morning.
Mm-hmm.
How many decisions did you make?
Innumerable.
Do
I mean, every turn. Do I go this way? Do I
every
go
turn?
that way?
Am I going to turn on my blinker? Am I
Hey,
gonna,
hey, don't go there. My
Well,
son is all over me about this nonsense.
Most people don't use their blinkers. in
I
Texas.
use them. He gets on me. He's like, "Dude, you didn't use your blinker." I'm like, "There's nobody within a quarter mile of me. Why do I need to use my blinker when nobody's there to see
Yeah,
it?
I
If a tree
know.
falls in the forest, does anybody hear it? I mean,
I do. Even with my poor hearing, I still hear it because I'm a blinker. I have
Oh,
to
I
use my
know.
blinker.
I know.
I don't know why.
I don't know. You trained your kids to drive because Joanna couldn't.
No.
No, she did it because you
Flip-flop.
couldn't.
Yeah.
Well, I taught our kids to drive because she couldn't, and I didn't know how bad a driver I was until I started trying to teach somebody
Right.
else how to
Dad,
drive.
you can't do that. Evan was the worst. Evan is mine. Evan, if ever I had a teetotaler, it would be Evan. He's just by the book. This is the rule. This is the
I know that's Samuel.
You don't deviate from this. This is it. Dad, you were going too fast into that turn. Dad, you didn't turn your blinker on 150 feet before the turn.
Right?
Dad, you didn't slow down. Get out.
Yeah, get out. It's not my day.
But those are easy decisions.
Yeah.
Those are
Yeah.
those are
I just go where Google Maps tells me to.
those are spot decisions. Yeah, she talks to me. I love Joanna's function. Turn left in 100 feet. All right.
All right, blinker time.
But she, those are the easy decisions.
Yeah.
I can remember when we moved here. We were in Pennsylvania,
Mm-hmm.
and we had a decision to make.
Yeah.
We found out December 2nd that we were leaving there, and
Being
we
told,
left.
being in the Navy and all.
We left on December 22nd.
Oh yeah, 20 days.
20 days. Normally, you have about 4 months to process all this, to get things going.
Oh my goodness.
So we were leaving Pennsylvania. It was right after Hurricane Katrina. We left New Orleans right before Hurricane Katrina for Pennsylvania. Left
Wow.
6 months later. Great times. Thanks, Navy. Appreciate that.
But you're there 6 months.
I was there 6 months. And we had zero time to go look for a house
Here.
here. So Sarah was living here because she was evacuated from Hurricane Katrina.
Right.
And we're like, Sarah, we need a house.
Go find us a house.
We got a realtor through USAA, and they said, I think this fits all your parameters. Sarah went to look at it. She says, this will fit you guys. My kids were much smaller then,
Right.
15 years ago. And we literally bought a house sight unseen, moving here. That's an impossible decision.
Yeah.
But it's a decision we had to make because
You had to
we
have
had
a
to have a
choice.
place to live.
You didn't have a choice.
We didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
Now, I'd take much longer when I say purchase a vehicle. Right?
Right.
It will take me 6 months. 6 months to find a vehicle because I nitpick everything.
Oh, we have a favorite brand, and so it's gotten easier the last few years. I mean, I have 4 cars, 3 are Hyundais.
Yeah, I have one, and I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan.
You know, my wife told me the other day, if they made a truck, you'd probably get it, wouldn't you? I'm like, well, hey, if they build the truck like they do the cars, probably, but
Yeah.
they don't.
And that's your process. You
Yeah.
already have something that
Yeah.
that you're comfortable with, you trust.
Well, but when I was looking for the cars for the kids, it took a while.
Mm-hmm.
One was pickier than the other about the kind, the style, the look, the color, the brand.
That's the way he is.
It was the other one. And he just wanted blue. That's if you can do it, I want blue. So, but it took a while because I had, if anything, it's the price for me.
Yeah.
I mean, quality is important, obviously in a used car because they weren't getting a new one.
No, indeed.
In a used car, I mean, quality is incredibly important. And what is your process when you're looking for the used car for the kids?
The first thing I look for is mileage.
Yeah.
I'm
So
not-
I just go to Auto Trader and
Me
I
too.
put in all the
Yeah,
parameters.
you can put all that in, and it spits out 1,500 cars,
And if I don't like them, I just increase my
and
radius.
then you got to start paring it down,
Yeah.
paring it down,
Yeah.
paring it down. That's how I bought.
Yeah.
That's how I bought the Durango. That's how I bought Marcus and Ryan's cars.
That's how we bought the 2 cars that the kids are they're paying for it, but the 2 cars they have now, that's how we did it.
Yeah.
Cars.com or Autotrader.com, mixture of the 2.
Yes. any website you can find.
Yeah, anything I can find.
Kind of going through that now with Carter and Evan, so it's just I love spending money,
Sure you
Sure, I love spending money.
You
But
spender.
those are decisions that
And I don't view that as a hard one.
no.
It can be time consuming, but it doesn't keep me up at night. What's a decision that keeps you up at night?
The getting out of the Navy.
I wondered if the transition to retire out of the Navy
that was
was probably a difficult one.
it was easier because of what they wanted to do to my family.
Yeah,
Either separating me to either coast
sure.
or uprooting my family and moving to a coast and then them not seeing me because I'd be
Right.
on the road all the time. They didn't give me great choices. They gave me great career choices.
Right.
To leave here. One was with an inspection team, one was with a helicopter mine countermeasure squadron.
Mm-hmm.
But both are gone 9 months a year, every year,
Yeah.
whether they're doing workups or they're out doing inspections. I was already on an inspection job. I would have fit right in, blended right in. But I would have to take away from my family.
Yeah.
And so that decision got easier as the process got longer.
Right. Right. And the hard decisions in our family center along the same things.
Mm-hmm.
Is how is this going to affect the family?
Right.
The problem in our life has been God wanting us to change churches, and at the same time, now I have the struggle that's real. I have the struggle. Preachers don't get exempt from that.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I know, right? Well, don't you just go with God? Well, I do. I do go with God. I go wherever God wants me to go. Period. End of story. However, in the process of trying to figure out what that is, I have a wife and 2 kids that I feel biblically those have a priority in the decision making process.
Right.
That my wife and kids come before my job. Now,
Sure.
it's a calling, and I don't dismiss that and I don't diminish that, but it's also my vocation.
Yes.
And that's there's a blurred line
It
there.
is. That line gets
that
blurred.
Nobody
easily.
outside of ministry understands. Frankly, they just don't.
it's tough.
Unless you grew up in a ministry
Unless you grew
family,
up in ministry, yes.
you don't understand the blurred line of, well, but you're supposed to go where every church that I've pastored, I feel 100% God has called us there. But between the first time I felt like God is stirring versus the time we pack up, there's a lot of process
Oh,
in there.
yeah.
And there have been a lot of churches that have been interested that I wasn't. And we had to really stop and think and pray and consider, is this where God wants us to be? As it relates to family, frankly, as it relates to finances.
Yes.
There have been some churches interested in me, but they really need to get a 22-year-old because of that problem. I got wife and 2 kids.
Yes, and when you have a family
that's
to take
real.
care of, yeah.
And I don't think a lot of people understand that sometimes.
And I don't think, this is me,
Sure.
I don't think God's going to call you to a place
No.
where you have to struggle.
No.
He doesn't want to see us struggle.
Right.
He doesn't want to see us fight within ourselves.
Right.
He doesn't want it to cause anything to drive a wedge in our families.
Right. Yes. And that's the critical part, is trying to discern
Yeah.
that. The decision-making process is a process. Some decisions are not snap decisions. If I want chocolate, vanilla, or strawberry, nobody cares.
Easy, yeah.
Up a level is, what kind of car do I want, or where do we want to live house-wise? Those are a little larger decisions. Then we get into some decisions that are lifetime decisions.
Having kids.
Having kids, when do you have kids? Some people choose to do it while they're still in high school. That's a lifetime changing decision.
We weren't quite that young, but we were
Now,
close.
I wasn't talking about you.
We were close.
Yeah. We waited. We waited 7 years in our marriage before having kids. That was our choice.
We waited 10 months.
Both sets of parents, didn't appreciate that, and yeah, he was an awesome guy, and deacon of the church, loved him dearly, and he loved us dearly, and he was the grandpa type, and he asked us. It was our first church we were pastoring, and Dulcie was working in the nursery, which is usually her go-to place, and she was working in nursery in Sunday school, and he came by, and he was Sunday school director, and he said, so, he asked the question, when are y'all having kids? And he didn't mean anything by it. Now his wife got all over him for asking the question because, and I don't remember if it was Dulcie or somebody else that had mentioned, have you ever considered, what if I can't have kids?
Oof.
And she was only talking to, don't ask that kind of question to young ladies because you don't know
the whole situation.
what's going on.
Yeah.
And he was like, and she's like, hey, I'm not being rude. I'm just saying we have to be careful what we ask young parents because we don't know the history.
But we have some really good friends in New Orleans. They're in Lake Charles now, but they when she was pregnant with hers, she had a very tough pregnancy, and so it was hard for her after Regan was born because everyone's like, well, when are you guys gonna have another one? You gonna have another one?
Yeah.
Well, we're not.
Right.
That was
rough enough.
That was tough.
Yeah.
that put my body through things that almost killed me.
Well, Dulcie will tell you, if our daughter had been first,
You'd have
she would
one.
be an only child.
Yeah.
Because the pregnancy
Mm-hmm.
was horrible. I don't know if it's the estrogen thing was an
Yeah.
overload, but it was horrible. with
Never
that one.
experienced that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. But it was just that one was hard, and so that was a different decision. Anybody commenting?
It's Jerry Normal. Hi, Jerry
Hey, how are you guys?
Welcome
Just
to
talking
the
about
conversation.
decisions. Yep. You made a decision to join us this morning.
Yeah.
Others are gonna choose now or possibly later. But, decisions are, none of us are exempt from them, even the difficult ones. And I think that the hard part that a lot of people face is trying to factor in how much does God need to play a role in the decision-making process? And some would say, well, it's 100%.
Right. It's easy to say that though.
But that's not.
It's not true.
I don't think it's accurate.
It's not, because
We have a brain and a heart, and that He gave us.
I chose to make a decision to go get a sausage roll this morning before I came up here.
Right.
I'd ask God if that's what I should do.
Sure. He doesn't care.
No, it's not those decisions that He cares about.
Yeah. I mean, I think have I told you I had a roommate in college that at one time that he believed he should pray about everything. He prayed about what socks to wear that day, and I'm like, okay, I don't think that he's as concerned about
Yeah, I
that
think-
as he is the character that you portray throughout the day.
Yeah. God help these socks to help me witness. No,
It's not about what you
But-
look like or what you wear.
But I think we need to be sensitive when God wants to be a part of that process.
and I think even back to buying a car.
Mm-hmm.
If I trust God to show the right car to me.
Sure.
And I ask God, God, I need a car.
Yeah.
And you have it. It's there.
Right.
Where's it at?
Right.
Show me.
Yes.
I'll do everything that I can
Oh,
do.
you
to-
Missouri individual.
Right.
Show me.
Show me.
Show me.
I am too. I'll do all my work.
Yeah.
I still have work to do.
Yeah. It's not going to magically show up in
No.
your driveway
No.
with somebody wanting you to sign a contract. You have to do some
Yeah,
work.
you have to do some work. Even when you say, God, help me through this decision, you still got work to do. You got to have skin in the game.
You do have to. You gotta put it in there. I mean, people. God, I need a job. Okay, go make application.
Now God will provide. God will provide.
Yeah, and He will when you go make application.
Hey, these 3 places are hiring. Oh man, if God wants me to have that, they're just going to come knock on my door and tell me that I'm the candidate for the position. No,
Yeah, I don't know who said it first.
that's not how
But,
life works.
somebody said something about put feet to your prayers.
Yeah.
You have to do something in the process.
Yes. You can't just sit back and watch God work. And then,
Well, you can, but you just don't.
well, you can.
But that's not the
Not with
point.
great expectation.
Yeah, not right.
Not with great expectation.
That's right.
If I'm just gonna sit back and wait for God, big hurricane comes through, guy's on his roof, water's getting higher and higher, God sends a pirogue, God sends a lifeboat, God sends a helicopter. Man on the roof says, God's gonna provide.
So how do you and Joanna make decisions in the family? I mean, I bring it up. I know some marriages, and specifically in our parents' age, one made the decision. Period. That's not how it works in my house, and it's not because Dulcie demanded it. We just have a joint partnership. Is how
Right.
we view marriage and family. That she and I get 2 votes and the kids get 1.
Yeah, that's the way it works. You don't have to like what we're doing.
Well, you all have to have 3 votes each, and the kids get 1.
I got 50%.
Because you'd have been out. But I mean,
I'm probably more of a 51% person.
yeah,
When it comes down to it, I'll probably end up making the decision.
if you can't agree on it,
If
that's
you
how
can't agree on it,
that's how
yeah.
we are. I mean, that has not been employed more than 1 or 2 times
Yeah, we don't.
in years. I mean, we talk it through, we pray it out, we deal with it, and we choose together.
Some of the toughest decisions we have lately is what's for dinner.
Yeah.
You know, after 26 years,
Yeah.
we've pretty much figured out how.
There's
each
about
other-
8 meals you like a lot, and which one are we having tonight?
Well, I've taken over a lot of the cooking
Yeah.
because Joanna's going back to work.
Sure.
And God bless our school teachers and anyone that works in schools.
Absolutely.
Because it's a terrible time to be a teacher. COVID has not been
Not been kind.
kind to them.
Not at all.
And now, you know, districts are having to pull kids back because it's just a mess. It's
crazy.
a mess. And,
But I mean, I think our family and marriage is very much the same. I'm a 51%er. You know, I'm kind of like the vice president if
If there's a tie.
If there's a tie, you know, I'll make the tiebreaker if I have to, but I don't want to if I don't have to, and I don't employ that. And that's, you know, and sometimes there's a lot of conversation
Right,
before
I
we
think-
end up at a decision.
I think that's us. We talk a lot.
Yeah.
We don't make a lot of snap, especially big decisions. We don't just jump on it because when we do that, they all turn
It's
out
always
terribly.
wrong. It's always bad.
They all turn out bad.
Yeah.
When we don't talk, and we'll talk to God,
Yeah.
and we don't discuss it and lay out the pros and cons, and
Oh yeah.
it always turns out bad.
You know, and I think back to a decision we made early on in our marriage, and it sounded right and it sounded good, and we laid out the pros and cons, and it was a membership in a buy sell trade kind of situation here. It was here in Fort Worth back when we were here for seminary
Right.
years ago, and it sounded good. You know, you pay in this membership, you get discounted rates on things and blah, blah, blah. And at the time, I don't think that we fully understood the ramifications of that.
Young and dumb.
Oh, yeah. But also, I don't know, I mean, we ran a lot on those kinds of decisions on facts and feelings.
Right.
There wasn't a lot of spiritual nature to that. It's like, okay, this seems right, it sounds right, whatever, let's go do that. Turned out horribly, you know, and, you know,
It does.
and, you know, because I think sometimes we don't think God cares about the financial things if it's not, you know, major.
Right.
You know, we had the money, it wasn't that, it just turned out to be a bust. And it was a stupid decision. It was a waste of money and a stupid decision. But, you know, I think a lot of times people don't think God cares about those things. That, you know, and so I guess maybe a question that we may get a lot, you work in youth and me working with adults, where's that line of where God cares? And,
Well-
I'm not saying God doesn't care ever, but you know, where's the line that this is where we really should. Have you ever thought about that? I haven't until this moment.
No. That's the beauty of having live stuff.
This is while we're live.
Hey, my sister's here. Hi, Laura.
Where's the line?
Where's the line? I don't.
And this has been on my mind since I've been reading through the reading plan in Abraham's life, because he does a lot of things by logic and feeling. He was afraid, you know, and I look at it, you know, he left to go to Egypt because of the famine.
Right.
Why? It never says God told him to go to Egypt. And it turned out badly for him to
Yeah.
go to Egypt.
Yeah.
So was he afraid? Was it logical? We don't have food, they have food. I don't think God can provide up here, so maybe this is what God's going to do.
Fear over faith.
And, you know, and so he went down there. And on the way, oh, hey, by the way, just tell him you're my sister.
Yeah.
Sort of true.
Wait a minute. Why didn't you tell me she was your sister?
Right.
Not your-
And so they
she's
kick
your
him,
wife?
they kick him out of, yeah, I find this funny. They kicked him out of Egypt. And he goes back up and he ends up at the same spot where he left, having wasted all that time.
Kind of like Jonah. You going to Nineveh one way or the other.
One way or the other, buddy. You know, and so, you know, I think many of us would look at a situation like that and go, that's just a logical decision to make. I can't find food here, I need to go here. I don't like my job here, so obviously I must need to change jobs. Or this job, whatever, and so I must change. But did God tell you to do that?
Yeah, I think that's a response, fight or flight. What am I going to do? Am I going to stick it out here and suffer through it, if you will?
Well, I came up with a statement last year. I think I shared it with you. My prayer at times, God, is this something you want me to walk through or walk away from?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people need to be praying that prayer because our brain can tell us, hey, this job over here, man, that's a lot more lucrative, but is that where you need to be?
Right.
Did God want you over there? Because you can go over there for the money and you may end up in a divorce
Yeah.
because you didn't think that one all the way through.
Yeah. Because those decisions have greater ramifications.
Or I hate my job. Or I hate my school teacher, so I'm going to swap schools.
Right.
Is that where God told you to go? Parent, is that where God told you to send your kids to school? These are important decisions. It's not all logic and heart. So where's the line in that? And I don't know that we have an answer.
Just got to put me on the spot there.
Well, I don't know that I have an answer. I'm struggling with that because I read through Abram and I go, how many of those decisions would I have made?
Probably most because you want to take
care of my family. How many of those same decisions would I have made, or would I have at least? Did he pray about it? Maybe so, but it's not recorded,
Right.
and so I can't read. I don't know. Maybe he did. Maybe he didn't. What I can say is I can look at how it ended up, and it didn't end up good for him. So it suggests to me that
It wasn't God's will.
wasn't God's will for him to go to Egypt and back. It wasn't God's will for him to sleep with Hagar.
Yeah,
even though it was culturally acceptable.
Hindsight is very, very clear.
Yeah.
Sometimes I wish I could fast forward 5 years.
Just to see and then come back.
Yeah, then come back and make the decision.
Yeah.
But that's not how God works it. Where's the line? What's the
line for you? You can post that in the chat now or later. Where's the line for you? How do you make your decisions?
Got 11 of you watching.
How do you make your decisions? What's the process? Which decisions do you make that you don't think God cares about? And that's okay. And at what level of decision is it that you really need to spend a lot of time in prayer about? Housing, we spend a lot of time in prayer about that.
Yeah.
Car buying, we spend less time than we do housing. Changing locations, changing cities, changing churches. Yeah. We spend a lot of time in prayer over that. That's vocational. We started out living in Burleson. Now we live in North Crowley, South Fort Worth. And we had to, part of that was, we didn't want to pay extra rent. Yes. So we needed to find something. We hated the house we were in. We thanked God for the house he gave us.
Right.
But at the same time, we hated it. The layout was awful. But we love where we are now. But because we're renting, I don't know what's coming. We're hoping to find out before long what we're going to have to do or not.
Constant state of flux. Constant state of flux.
And I just think that it's important. I think it's important for y'all to know that we don't have all the answers on that. We struggle through it, and we, if there's any doubt in your decision process at all, that's where I believe you need to spend time in prayer over it. I think sometimes I get to church and back and my daughter wishes I would have prayed more about what I wore because it didn't match, You ever deal with that?
No, I don't.
Yeah. You got boys though.
As long as my head's covered.
That's right.
I got long sleeves on.
But you match. You look really nice. You got your purple going on.
I did. I have my purple and Q shirt on too. I didn't even think about it, but
just all the way, man.
Yeah. Well, I'm a big fan of the Crowley High School and all their events and athletics.
Absolutely. Well, if you want to know more about decisions, how to make good decisions, how to make better decisions, look back on our Facebook, go to our YouTube page. You can find, I gave a talk on it 2 days ago.
It's really good. If you haven't seen it, I rewatched it. I watched it, then I rewatched it. It's only about 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But it just breaks it down Barney style for you. Faith, feelings, and facts. And the process of making that decision with all three and finding the center of God's will, just really, really, really good stuff.
Thanks.
Really good stuff. Look back, I think that was Wednesday, wasn't it?
It was Tuesday. It was Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday. Well, you guys have a great day, a great weekend. We are on campus this Sunday. Parents, we're going to have nursery, birth to 2. Everybody else is in worship together. And we're going to slow roll that thing. We're working with our lead team to find out, when do we open up the next stage of things. We're thinking about it. We're praying about it. That's a decision we're having to pray about for sure. Pray with us over those decisions and bear with us as well. 1 Corinthians 13:8 says that love bears all things. So bear with us through the process, and we are working to do what's best for all of us involved in that process. So you guys have a great day, and have a great weekend. We'll see you on Sunday.
Derek Baker, peace.